Hi, I want to talk today about what's the role of culture in brand building. Culture is often influenced by the story or the storyline, the story that's being told about an organisation, and a series of events will affect the people in that organisation for positive and negative ways. So if we have a serious, significant event that occurs in the organisation, then that can fundamentally change the culture of that organisation. Effectively, what people believe about it, what they understand to be the present situation, and what they understand to be the future potential events that are going to occur for that organisation as well. So, for example, people within an organisation might believe that outside of the organisation, people, the customers or stakeholders, think a particular thing about that organisation because of some event that might have occurred, whether that was a product failure or perhaps something fundamental about that organisation, how it's positioned in the market, and as such, the people within the organisation then have a reinforcing belief, whether it's negative or positive, and that fundamentally affects the culture. How that interplays with branding is really interesting, because if people who are working for that organisation have a fundamental belief that is formed through a storyline over time, and that can influence how they represent the brand and how they communicate that brand to other people, and also obviously represent how they make decisions about their marketing, advertising, and so therefore how they present that brand to the market too. So I think culture plays quite an important role in the health of an organisation, and and how that then therefore interplays with its brand as well. That, I guess, where it gets really interesting for me is how do you make change in organisations where the culture isn't so positive, and perhaps there's a series of false beliefs that reinforce a kind of brand or a kind of culture that you don't want as a manager. I think often the best thing to do is to sit down with various particular groups and start talking about some of the associated kind of understanding and issues around the organisation. What are people thinking? What do they perceive? What are some of the historic events or key moments that have occurred, and therefore, how does that make people feel? What do they therefore think about the organisational brand and their role within it, and therefore how do they behave when they're in it? It's a really great feeling that when you get some of the stuff on the table and people are talking it through, already you can see that they feel a lot better about themselves and their role in the organisation, because they can see these issue points discussed in an open forum and on the table, and often then it's a lot easier to rationalise whether an issue is real or not. Most often than not, what I find when working with companies is that they when they put ideas or issues on the table, a lot of them can be rationalised out as false. So we believe that people think about us this way, or we believe that we're perceived this way in the market, we're positioned this way in the market in people's minds, and more often than not, I don't think that's the case at all. I think we make massive assumptions about how we're being perceived, and it's often not grounded in any real kind of facts or figures or reality, just our own biases from our own storylines and viewpoints of the past. So little chat about culture and branding, and perhaps there's a little snippet in there for you somewhere. Perhaps have a think about your organisation and the people within it, and how you want them to get on, how you want them to treat each other, how you want them to see your brand and to see their role with it and within the organisation, and perhaps how you want them to see the future.